All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Hold on now. I feel like a little bit zoomed in there. Zoom you out there a little bit. All right. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Looks like it's going to be a good day today. Looks like it's going to be a good day today on the old Apple, my nose is itchy, man. This sunburn is getting a little itchy. How am I feeling? I'm feeling great, CJ. I'm feeling great, man. It's going to be a good day, it looks like. Good upside continuation on Apple. Good, just such a beautiful move. Morning margin 3D, Keystone, Ponzi, Mac, Dino, Trader J, Chef. Good morning, Chef. Robert, Eastside, CJ, of course, Edgar, Paul, Dirty Bird, Emmy, Rusty, Jason, the closer. AKA the closer. Holy shit, Apple's really going up. It's not stopping either. Wow. All right. Welcome back, guys. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good morning. Hope you had a good day yesterday. Really nice upside yesterday across the board. Some really nice pullback longs out there. And a really nice pullback long on, or a pullback, not a long yet, but a pullback opportunity on that CrowdStrike move. And this is something we're going to talk about today. I'm very interested about that CrowdStrike pullback yesterday. This is a very nice pullback on CrowdStrike, exactly what you wanted to look for an entry point. So this is definitely one of my top watches today on that CrowdStrike move. But besides that, man, just sort of a risk-on environment going on here, guys. You're starting to get that feel, right? You're starting to get that risk-on feel. You're getting the Coinbases of the world. The crypto boys are out to play, right? The crypto boys are getting out of their hibernation. They're starting to crawl out of the hole. They're starting to come through the cracks, right? Come through the core of the earth and creeping out, right? You can feel it. You can feel the crypto boys coming to play. And so you're getting like this little risk-on juice move recently, and there will be a pullback on the overall market. I'll talk about this in a second, right? You got a pretty decent gap and go yesterday on the SPY, which is not great, okay? In terms of closer, appreciate that, man. Thank you for the donation. Awesome. Appreciate that, brother. In terms of structure of this market, in terms of healthy upside, I don't really love to see a gap and go yesterday. It's definitely a little bit frothy. Can it continue? Yeah, absolutely. Will there be a day that we fill that gap and go? Yes, there will be. And that will be the day that the you know that meme where it's like, let me see if I can pull it up. Someone get that stock chart. Where's Chris Jones? Give me that chart. The I told you so chart. The little bear I told you so chart. Someone give it to me in the Discord. I want to find this. Damn it. Someone get me that chart. Well, I guess I'll wait. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is you got your gap up, right, on the market. You got your gap and go yesterday. Gap and go. There will be a day that this comes back down and fills that gap, right? And this will be the day that everyone thinks the market is crashing, right? But it's literally just a gap fill. So that will happen, and we'll have to be aware of that, right? As we sort of frothily move higher, let's be aware that there will be some kind of pullback to fill that gap. Let's make sure we protect ourselves on that mindset. For now, we're just going to keep trusting these levels like we always have, like we did yesterday, and which led to the upside. So really, really nice. We'll obviously go over all those levels again today. On the futures, on the SPY, QQQ, on the individual equities. And yeah, that's about it. But definitely feeling a little bit risk on as of late. Long-term portfolio looking beautiful. Let's do it. All right, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 100,000 subs, please. We're still struggling, man. Carmine's going to get to 200 subs before I can even get to 100. I don't get it. People don't like the sub. Why not me? Why 100K and not me? Here we go. Today, Tuesday, really nothing, guys. Empire, not on the charts. Empire State Manufacturing Index, FOMC members, Cougar and Daily, speaking at 11:30 and 1 p.m. Don't think that really means anything. 8:30 in about 24 minutes, we'll get Empire State Manufacturing Index. We'll see if there's anything there. I don't really expect much there. So today, economic side, I'm really not too worried about it. Tomorrow, really not worried about it either. 8:30 import prices, not really worried about that. Thursday is where it gets sort of questionable, right? The core retail sales, the unemployment claims. That's Thursday. That will be what we'll be aware of, right? This is probably where you want to start being careful of swings, right? If you have Friday expiration swing trades, you probably want to start exiting those on Thursday or Wednesday afternoon, right? Tomorrow afternoon, or at least rolling those into a further dated contract, right? So Wednesday, I would probably be starting to exit your swing trades into a retail sales data on Thursday. Retail sales data could be the perfect way for this market to drop to fill that gap and then sort of recover back to the upside. That's sort of something that could happen there on Thursday. That's very possible. So let's just be aware here. That's really your big event of the week, Thursday, 8:30 before market open. Friday, building permits, housing starts, and that's that. All right, earnings calendar. We do have some earnings this week, guys. We do have TSM on Thursday pre-market, and we have Netflix on Thursday after hours. We also have ASML, which is a big semiconductor. If I zoom out here, you guys can see right there. ASML tomorrow before open, Morgan Stanley. We have TSM before open on Thursday. We have Netflix after hours on Thursday. And today we had some banks. Goldman Sachs, really strong. Goldman, United Health Group, Bank of America, Citibank, Johnson & Johnson. Let's see how some of those are doing. I know Goldman Sachs is juicing. J&J about flat. BOA, what's Bank of America? BAC, BAC. It's a little bit of upside. UNH, a little bit of downside. Really nothing major out there. But Goldman Sachs strong, so banks look pretty strong this morning, and that's about it. I think the biggest earnings of the week is going to be probably these three right here: ASML, TSM, Netflix. Those are the big three in terms of the tech sector. So watch those three. All right, let's get into the Nasdaq. So yesterday, very nice. What did we do? We got our gap, we got our go, right? We got our gap and go. We hit this like 20,670, 680, and I'll sort of go back and show you where I see why that rejected. So if I go to this 4-hour chart, if we go into this 4-hour chart here from back in July, we can see there's a little bit of this failure right here around this 670 and a little bit of this area right here around this 670. I think that's where you're reacting right now on the Nasdaq futures, right around that 20,670. That is the high of yesterday, right? You can see right here, that is the 20,670 level, and that looks to be where you're sort of reacting on a little bit of a rejection point for now, right? So let's be aware of that 20,670. There is a little reason for that level there. If we go back to the 4-hour, there's a little bit of action back in July at that level. Let's be aware of it. Now, after getting our gap up and our go and then getting our rejection, where did we move lower into? We came back down and we stayed above the previous highs of last week. Perfect holds, perfect demand stepping up around that 20,500, holding above these highs, right? And an awesome pullback long once again intraday, right? Pullback, hold above those previous highs like we've been talking about. As long as that Nasdaq futures is above those previous highs, as long as the Nasdaq futures is above the last week's triple top, there is no reason to short this market. As long as you are above this high, and this high, shorting this market is just criminal. I mean, it's just totally against the market. There's really no reason besides pure just trying to guess that the market's going to go down. There is nothing here structural-wise as to why you'd fade this market until you break under this level right here. If you fail below this and you turn this into rejections, then there is an actual reason to look for shorts, probably down into the 20,330, 20,300. That is on a failure below last week's highs. If you are above last week's highs, trying to short this market is just totally nonsense. It makes no sense, and you need to stop trying to do that. I would continue to look for pullback longs at 20,500 to 20,475. If we come back to this level again today, I will look to see if there is a long that sets up on a pullback towards this level. The only time I will flip my mindset into thinking that the market is probably tired in the short term is a break back below this 20,500 and 20,475. That would be a failure back below these highs, and that would definitely bring some of the bears out to play for a drop back down into this demand at 20,300. Until then, the pullback long is the play to look for. To the upside, 20,670, that's the level to watch. Makes no difference, closer. All those things are totally irrelevant. You watch the levels and you trade the levels. Who cares what the greed to fear index looks like? You trade the level. If you come back down to this level and it starts to hold, you trade it just like you would every other day. It does not matter what the fear to greed index is. 20,500, 20,475. That's the level to watch. Look for pullbacks there. That was the pullback long yesterday. You can see right here. Came back down towards that area, created this nice demand low, created another upside move. Upside supply still very clear at 20,670. So let's be careful up here today. I think what you're possibly going to see here, guys, is the start of a consolidation area, right? So let's look at what this market has done, right? It consolidates, it pushes higher. It consolidates, it pushes higher. So I'm going to assume that you are now in a consolidation period, right? So if we consolidate, I think you'll probably see some consolidation between this area here, 20,670 highs, right? Right here, and those 20,500 demand lows. This is probably what you're going to see, possibly until retail sales. That would be my assumption. I would assume the market starts to consolidate sideways until that Thursday move. So maybe you get pretty much exactly what it did right here. All right, you get 2 days of just general consolidation above these highs and below these highs here, right? So that's what I would be looking for. I would probably expect a little bit of consolidation between 20,005 and 20,670. That would be how I walk into the market today and just have that expectation. Now, if we get over 20,680, you can see right here, if we get above this area, above this 670, 680 high from yesterday, of course, if we see this and we see this, then of course we're going to continue higher, right? If we see the market turn yesterday's highs into new lows, then yes, we will see the upside continue, right? And we're just going to have to continue to sort of trade that structure move. If we push higher today and fail this upside rejection point from yesterday, it probably brings us back down towards that demand low here, right? So as of right now, I'm sort of ignoring this 20,600, even though I think it is an important level. 20,600 is actually a very important level, but I'm sort of looking at it in terms of this channel right here. I think that's a little bit more of the channel that I would personally trade. If I want to long this market, I would only want to long it on a pullback, right? Because just because the market's going up, guys, does not mean that we can just FOMO into entry points, right? You still want pullback longs in bullish markets, right? Pullback longs all last week created the best longs, right? And so I'm going to look for the same thing, pullback longs to create the best longs. I'm not going to look to long at the supply highs and hope that it's going to break out. That's not really my game plan. So I'm not going to just long here, hope that the breakout comes in. I'm still going to look for those proper entries. And so the proper entries are at those channel lows. This was your proper entry last week, right? And this is where I think the proper entry is this week. So I'm still going to only enter long probably as if we're near that 20,500 low. This is really where I'd want to be a long player down at that 20,500. To the upside, I'd be a little bit careful, right? Trading longs near that 670 high, 680 high from yesterday. That could be just sort of a channel high rejection point for now. If we get above that level, then of course, things change and we'll have to sort of adjust to that intraday and see if there is a beautiful break and retest long above 670, 680 today. Okay? So that's what I'm watching on the Nasdaq futures. I think your best opportunities will arise on a pullback towards that 20,500. Steven, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Hopefully that comes from a trade that you got here on the live stream, man. So appreciate that. Thank you for the $20 donation. All right, let's go to the QQQ. QQQ, pretty much the same read here. I think you have found yourself a new little channel. It looks to me to be around 500 to 495. It looks like about a 5-point range. This is similar to this range right here, which was around 4 points, right? You can see right there, we had those supply highs, we had those demand lows, right? And so this is sort of that supply high, 500, and those demand lows, 495. And so personally, I would really only want to be long in this area down here, right? Anywhere between that 495 and that 500, or I'm sorry, that 495 and that 494 is the area that I'd want to be looking for longs, right? Pull back to these previous highs from last week. Look to see if we get that long entry. That is the exact level that created the long yesterday, right? Right here, 495, you got your pullback, you got your double bottom low, and you got your long off that level. That was beautiful. 495, again, a level to be watching today on that pullback long idea. So if we get that drop today towards 495 or towards that 494 previous highs, right? This is going to be the area I look for those buyers to step up. That's going to be very interesting for me today to be paying attention to. You can see here on the hourly chart, consolidation, look for longs at the previous highs, look for the longs at those previous highs to turn into new lows. Now, to the upside, it looks like it's really just 500 to me. If we go over to this 4-hour chart and we go all the way back to where the all-time highs were, it's really just 500, right? And then above that, it's 505 all-time highs pretty much. If we get this QQQ over 500, I don't think anything's really stopping it, to be quite honest. You have this high, these highs, right? That 500 psych level, very clear. Very nice rejections there previously. And that is sort of where the market stalled out yesterday, right? You can see right here, if you go to this QQQ, yesterday we stalled out pretty close to that 500 supply high. So I would not be very aggressive on the longs right into this 500 area. I would probably want to see a break and hold above that level before re-entering longs if we don't get that pullback long, right? So if we don't get this pullback long at 494, 495, if we don't get that pullback long and we just sort of go straight up today, then you're going to need to get a long over 500 and you're going to have to see a very clean hold above that. It could be anywhere between it looks like it's anywhere for now between like 499 and 500. So I'll put a zone there for the moment, right? Because as of right now, you can see the rejections came in around 499, but I know that 500 is still there. So I'd probably just be careful in this whole dollar range up here between 499 and 500. I'd most likely want to get a hold above this zone to really trust that there is more upside to come in. That is if we do not get a pullback first, okay? S&P 500, new all-time highs on a daily basis at this point. What a ripper. What a beautiful, yesterday held like a champ. There was no pullback on the ES yesterday, which is wild. This is what concerns me, to be honest, right? Because this is a gap up, and there is no pullback. There's no gap fill. This is a gap and go move yesterday. That is, right? I don't love that. That makes me think that there could be a pullback at some point, right? A deeper pullback to fill that gap. I really think this is your best long entry, to be honest. If I'm not being a rational bull here, the good entry point is right here, right? 58.65, the Friday highs that held in the pre-market yesterday that just sort of created that squeeze. This is really the proper long entry back at these highs. Do I think you're going to get back there? I'm unsure. Do I think you'll get back there at some point in the future? I think that's almost a 100% yes, right? At some point in the future, you will get this to fall back to this 58.65, 58.66. That is almost guaranteed. How high do we go before that happens? That's the question mark, right? How high does this ES go before you get that pullback? That's going to be the question mark, right? And that's why you can't just short saying, hey, I think you need to fill that gap and I'm just going to short it. I don't know how high you're going to go before that happens, right? You can go to 6,000 on the ES before that downside starts to come in, right? So you can't really short with that idea. Do I think that that's the right potential, the eventual right move on the ES? Yes, that is really the structure that you want. You really don't want this thing just to gap and go and just start running away. That's really not great for the market in terms of health, right? It sort of gets frothy in that move. So as of now, you're just looking for those pullbacks, in my opinion. I think the first level to watch is 58.90, and then, of course, the 58.65 that we talked about. All right, you're really starting to extend past that 20 SMA, and you guys know what happens when you start to extend past the 20. There will be a pullback to it, right? You can see we extended past the 20 here, and you got your sort of slow pullback back to it. You're extending past the 20 here. You will get a pullback back towards that 20 SMA, right? It will happen. That's going to be when that next big long opportunity arises. For now, it's sort of just a momentum trade. So for me, right? You get a little bit more cautious on like those really aggressive longs as the ES starts to run away from that 20 SMA. For now, we're watching 58.90, right? That's the level that held yesterday. That could be a nice pullback long to look for today. If you get under 58.90 today, that would really be, I think it'd be better for it to happen sooner than later. If you get under 58.90, that probably fades back down towards that 58.65, right? And sort of gives back this gap up from yesterday. This is pretty much all a gap right here between 58.65 and 58.90. So just be aware of that on the market, right? Know that that is there. Don't forget about that. And if you do start falling into this zone and you do start going straight down, do not be zoomed in on the nanosecond chart. And make sure you understand that this pullback is actually the most bullish thing for the market. And you want to make sure if you start seeing the ES trading at 58.65 that you're prepared for where that long could come in, right? Because that really is the pullback to be looking for. That is not the let me short with my whole portfolio down into this demand because here we go, the market's tanking. That's not what this is. That is, when you zoom out, definitely not what this is. So a pullback is warranted. I think the best would be 58.65. Not sure if you're going to get that, but I would be aware of that. For now, it's 58.90. It's 58.65. Those are the two levels that I'd be looking for. Let's take a second. Go to this SPY. Let's go to our daily levels like you guys should remember that we looked at every day over the last few weeks. And let's just bask in the absolute glory of this daily chart. This has got to be one of the cleanest daily chart break and retests I have ever seen. Hey, let's give a shout out. What do we got here? TradeZella looking fresh for the month of October. Trade win percent 63, profit factor. Trade, what? Awesome, man. Congratulations. 2. Nice job, brother. All right. Look at this. Look at this. That is sick. Previous double top highs in the daily chart. Break, retest, 20 SMA. Bam. That is the beauty of the day of the break and retest, and that you can see it right there. We were all over this, and look at the payoff that came over the last few days. Beautiful stuff. Daily chart on the SPY really showed that picture, and you can see the run that's happened since then. Now, when we drop this down into some short-term levels, it really is clean. Look at this hourly chart on the SPY. Look at these levels. You can see right here. Previous highs into lows. Previous highs into lows. Previous highs into lows, right? Look at how this is just stair-stepping higher. For now, you're getting a little bit extended, right? And this is what I've been talking about on the SPY. You're getting a little bit extended here. You can see this is our level here, 582.50, and this 580. I think, like I said on the ES, the best pullback long is 580. I think that's your best entry point right there. That is a pullback to these highs. That is a gap fill on the SPY. That is really where I think you'd want to be comfortably long on the SPY. My TOS is really lagging right now. I don't know why. But there is a gap fill to 580. There's a gap here. And that gap is yesterday's gap and go. Right, that's the gap that's on this chart. It is yesterday's gap and go, and that fills back at the 580 level. That would really be the pullback long. That would be the most interesting to me right here. So let's be aware of that. Let's make sure we watch that 580 level on the SPY. For now, there is something at 582.50 that we can watch. Right, if we go to this 15-minute chart. Come on, TOS, don't fail me now. 582.50 was a hold from yesterday, and the 580 level as well. So those are the two levels I'm watching, 582.50, 580. Looking for those pullback longs today. Richie, appreciate that, man. Thanks for joining the stream. All right, let's go to the IWM. Oh, boy. She's really slow today. IWM, just pure perfection. Wow. What's going on with my Wi-Fi? Computer's really cutting out on me right now. How's that Wi-Fi looking? Jeez. Is my computer about to blow up? Damn. All right, I might have to give this thing a little break. She's getting a little hot. How's everything look on your... Yeah, it says YouTube's not receiving enough data. Getting some dropped frames. Encoding overload. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Well, not sure if I'm still live. Let's see if I can get this back up. Damn, it's because we got 3,300 people here. What the hell are 3,300 people here? What are we doing with 3,300 people here? My God. Yeah, there's I need to figure out why when more people join my computer fails. What can I do to fix that, guys? Is more people create more memory? I don't really know. There was 3,300 people there. That's a lot. I've never had that many people in here. But yeah, I think that's what happens. Every time there's like more than 2,500, it causes problems. All right, we're back. Welcome back. Here we go. So 222, 220. What am I? I'm on IWM. Okay. 216 IWM. You guys should remember that on our 4-hour chart. We were talking about this over the last couple weeks. We talked about that slow pullback on IWM into the 20 SMA, into the 216, and bam, bam, bam. Was that a beauty? Yesterday, we said we got to hold over 221. What did we do? We held over 221. That is fantastic. And today, we're looking at the 222.60. 222.60 is these highs right here. If the IWM can hold over 222.60, this will continue higher. What I would look for today is a pullback long at 221, guys. That would be my favorite watch on the IWM. I would look for a pullback long to 221. That would be very, very interesting. Keep an eye on that IWM 221 today. Britt, appreciate that. Press that like button. All right, let's go to the SMH real quick. SMH is all about this 260 today. Can we hold above 260? If not, look for the pullback longs at 256. 256 and 260 on the SMH. We do have TSM earnings on Thursday, so we could see a little bit of a slowdown here. 256, 260 on the SMH. The next major supply high is 265. 265 right here is your next major supply high in the SMH, so be aware of that to the upside, okay? We got our Empire State Manufacturing Index, and it looks like the market is not really reacting to that at the moment. So, all right, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're about to get into some stocks. If you guys could, please press that like button for me. Help me continue to grow the live stream. I got to figure out how to keep this YouTube live stream going when there's more than 2,000-3,000 people in here, because that really crushed it right there. That just totally shut it down. All right, Tesla. So again, guys, I know there's interest in buying this pullback on Tesla. I would say this, okay, here's my recommendation for you. If you're trading with options, right, if you're trading with options, I would wait for this 225, okay? If you're trading with options, if you're looking to trade short-term Tesla, if you're looking to get a good move on Tesla with option contracts, I would not trade it until you get outside of this 218 to 225 zone. This is a dead zone for me. This is the DZ. This is the dead zone for me on option contracts. This is not where you want to be holding Tesla options. This is the dead zone. This is where it just sort of gets crushed. I would not be involved in that area. If you want to trade shares, okay, if you want to invest in Tesla, then I do not mind looking to invest in Tesla at the 100 SMA. All right, I don't mind that at all. If you like Tesla long term and you say, hey, I like this 100 SMA, this is a nice little potential share SH purchase. I don't mind that. But with option contracts, I would not be involved in this zone. Where I would get involved on options is a break and hold and reclaim back over 225 and then look to see if you can get the move back towards that 235. That would be an options trade, but that is not until you break over 225. It is very clear that as of right now, Tesla still is in that sort of hangover from the event drop, right? We got a drop off the Robotaxi event, and it is absolutely still in that sort of hangover type trade where it just sort of does nothing. This is pitiful, pitiful action. This is not action you want to be stuck in on option contracts. This is very frustrating to be a part of. I would not expose yourself to this action on Tesla. You need to get that thing over 225, okay? You could try to get aggressive off the 218 and the 100 SMA, but know that you're going to sit through a lot of shit, right? And if you're patient, right, maybe you take 6-month out contracts, maybe you take leaps, then maybe that's okay, right? But if you're taking some this week, next week contracts on Tesla, hoping that this thing gets a move on, you're going to be sitting through some shit. That's at least my assumption as of now. Maybe it can change today, but that is my assumption as of now. Nomits. Holy shit. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Vincent, cannot thank you enough for Apple Payday. MSTR, I got you. Nomits, Apple man, Payday. Yeah, you said it. You said it right, brother. Apple Payday. All right. Nvidia. So, Nvidia gap and go yesterday. I think the best long is 135, and we did get that pullback this morning to 135, just about to that level, and we can see that it is sort of pushing higher since that point. I think your best long with no drama, with no feeling of FOMO or chase is 135. If you can get Nvidia back to 135, this is absolutely a spot that I would look to get involved on Nvidia on a pullback long. This is previous highs, and a long here would make a hell of a lot of sense. I would be careful chasing this thing anywhere else. 137.50 was a double bottom low from yesterday, and that is causing rejections right now on the pre-market move. I would be careful longing Nvidia at 137.50, and I'd be careful longing at this 139.50. These are two very clear levels that we had yesterday. This is that 4-hour high from July 11th. 7/11, July 11th. There was a 4-hour high at 137.50. That is the exact level that held yesterday. And that is also the exact level that's rejecting today. Okay, so be aware of that. 137.50. I don't like the longs there. Be cautious of that rejection. I would want to be long right here. That's the sexy spot. That's the, full size. I'm not scared. I know this is a key spot. I'm going to trust this level. That's the level for me. That's 135 for me. Besides that level, I'm a little bit cautious of maybe some weakness here. There's some other reasons why I think there could be some weakness. Number one, Semiconductor ETF, SMH, is at a major supply, right? SMH at supply. And you also have the TSM earnings on Thursday, which could sort of cause some semis to just sort of slide and stay weak for, a few days now. So I'd probably be a little bit careful because of some of those semiconductor things, those outstanding things on semiconductors. I would want Nvidia right there. That's my game plan. I'm not changing it. If it goes straight up today, I'll hold my 500-600 shares and I'll go to sleep very happy if I don't trade it with options. AMD. What a beautiful rejection on AMD. I mean, my God. Even with, the market strength, look at this rejection on AMD. We talked about that 169. Look at that previous high. Look at those lows, and look at the break and retest short that's set up here. That is very interesting. Now, that short is over. So to anyone looking to short AMD, you need to know that that short is now over. This was a beautiful short on a pop back into this supply level, into that previous low, and into this high here, and a beautiful failure, right? Bam, bam, bam. Break and retest works to both sides. Break, retest, short. That is gorgeous stuff. That is perfect. I would no longer look to short AMD down at this 200 and this 20 SMA. I would not look to short AMD at 162. You have the 20 and 200 SMA sitting right here. This could really be a sort of double bottom low that creates more upside, to be honest. So I would be very careful shorting AMD here at 162. The short was right here at 169. Look to see if AMD can sort of hold this channel low. There could be some interest down there today. Broadcom, still holding above this 180. You can see there. That's something I would watch. And still holding above that 177. I would watch those two levels today on Broadcom. ARM, really big move on ARM yesterday. I would watch this 157.50 level to around that 160-150. You can see right here. See how that held intraday yesterday. I would watch that level today on ARM on any pullback. If we pull back to that 157.50, I would look to see if something sets up there on ARM. MU is actually an interesting one. If I go to this 4-hour chart, take a look at this MU 4-hour. MU, you can see right here, had some very clear lows, had some very clear highs, and you can see is now holding above that level. That is 105. I would continue to look for MU to hold above 105 for upside continuation. This is where you'd really want to be long, at this 105 level. That is these previous highs right here, and that is the major lows in the 4-hour here. We definitely know there's some very heavy supply above at 111, so be aware of that. Okay? All right, let's go into MicroStrategy for Nomits. Nomits 200, man. Look at this break and retest setting up. This is your level. This is it. Look how clean this is. Double top high. Look at this 200 pullback. That is very interesting. If it's not there, it's 183. You're looking for either longs off 200 today or longs off 183. This is very, very clean. Double top, 200, break, retest, bam, bam. This is the squeeze day. This is the FOMO day. This is the day that people chase it at the highs. It goes down because they're chasing longs. They get out of the trade yesterday. Guys, this is text. I mean, if this works out, this is the psychology behind the break and retest. Let me go ahead and talk to you just quickly about it. I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but this is the psychology behind the break and retest, okay? You get a double top high. You get a squeeze, right? People that were long here are in a great situation. They're taking profits into this move. That's the people that are making the money. That's awesome, okay? Now, the second half of the day, you get the chasers, the FOMOers, the ones that, are starting to get in towards the highs, getting in yesterday at the high, way extended past the breakout point, and they're just sort of chasing the move. Then, the next day, you go straight down, right? These guys up here are getting crushed. They're getting taken out, right? They're losing money. They're taking losses, blah, blah, blah. And there's these people, right, who are sitting on the sidelines, right? This is the sideline over here. They're waiting for the retest, right? They're waiting for the retest. The sideline people are waiting for the retest. Once that retest comes in, they start getting interested again, right? You have all these people that chase this move, getting stopped out all day yesterday. Why is MicroStrategy going down? Oh my God, it just went straight up. How could it possibly go down? Well, it's just retesting the previous highs, okay? There's your previous highs. You're coming in to retest that level. And today is really the day that you'd be interested in longing this stock, right? Because here it is at the retest at 200. And now you can actually set up a quality risk-reward trade, stop loss under 200, risking back into those highs, right? Now you have risk-reward for this trade. If you entered here, your risk is down to that 200, and your reward is where? I don't even know. It could be like a point. Who knows? You have no idea. But at least now you can set up risk-reward. Risk under 200, reward back to 227. If it fails, so be it. You take a little loss. Next level to watch would be 183. That would be your next pullback long to watch. So, very nice. Very nice. MicroStrategy, watch 200 today. Apple. What a move. I mean, it's doing exactly what we talked about. There is no discrepancy between what we talked about and what Apple has done. There's zero discrepancy. 227, break and retest, 229.50, break and retest, and here's your payoff day. Now you're watching this 233, right? Major highs, and you're looking to see if it can retest that level. If Apple holds over 233 today, this thing's on an absolute heater. 4-hour chart on Apple, there really is nothing above 233. This really is the major high, 233, 233, 233, 233, 233. If you hold above 233 today on Apple, this thing is going to probably see new all-time highs. So I would watch 233 today on Apple. I'm definitely going to take some profits on this swing trade today. This is the proper day to do it on a big squeeze like this over my target. Going to be taking some profits today, maybe looking to extend these contracts into some further dated contracts. But today, you're watching 233. If it can hold above that level, that is a major hold over this 4-hour high on Apple. Very, very clean. And the all-time high is 236, 237, so be aware of that. But really, the major rejections came in at 233. Let's see if it can hold above it. Microsoft, still really a clean setup, guys. I know it's slow. I know Microsoft has been painful to really get a big move, but man, is this setup still alive, and I would not look away from this quite yet. This is starting to show to me that inverse head and shoulder, right? Here's your left shoulder, here's your head, here's your right shoulder. Your neckline was that 418, 419 zone, and look at what it's doing right now above that level. If Microsoft can now maintain above that 418, 419, maintain above that 250 SMA, then I think this is going to start to move. 425 is absolutely still a major supply above, so that is why you are getting that rejection. This was a major rejection point, and you definitely saw it reject yesterday. So be aware up at that 425 and that 20 SMA, but as long as Microsoft is holding above this zone, it really is something that could be setting up. Google, 4-hour chart is the textbook definition of an inverse head and shoulder on a much larger time scale, right? Look at this thing right here. Right here, right here. That is definition inverse head and shoulder here on Google. You have your left shoulder, you have your head, you have your right shoulder. If this thing can now remain over this 162, remain over that 250 and 20 SMA, look at that SMA, look at the SMA rainbow right there. If you can continue to hold above that right there at 162, this is probably going to create that inverse head and shoulder breakout. I would watch this 170 level. That's going to be the big spot. If Google can get over 170, look at that inverse head and shoulder, man. Look how clean that is. Look at that. That right there is what you see in textbooks about chart formations. If you can get over 170, this could really start to go. Over 170, watch 175. Over 175, you go into 180, and this could really just start to navigate through these previous levels to the left. So watch the 170. That's going to be something you watch on Google today. ASML before earnings. I mean, it's really pointless for me to do anything here before earnings. I mean, it looks like this 900 level was a major level previously, so you might want to watch out for that. Hard for me to say what's going to happen here, man, Susan. It's really sort of pointless, but 900 is going to be, looks like a key spot there. Let's go to CrowdStrike because this is exactly what you want CrowdStrike to do. What it's doing today is textbook. Here is CrowdStrike. Here is the exact same read that we just talked about on MicroStrategy, right? It's the breakout over the 280 highs. It's the FOMO chasing. Oh my God, CrowdStrike won't stop going higher. I have to enter it now. It's the yesterday drop that gets rid of all those weak hands, right? It's the FOMO chasing, getting obliterated yesterday on a pullback, except that pullback is exactly the long spot, right? The pullback yesterday on CrowdStrike is exactly what you wanted to long this stock. Here's your 280 breakout point. Here's your 200 and 100 SMA at 303, 305. You got your squeeze above it. You got your retest yesterday. Now you're looking to see if this turns into a new low, and if it does, this is really your next long entry on a break and retest of the 280 highs. Big time watch today on CrowdStrike at 303, 305. All right, that's about it. 2,300 people here, 1,200 likes. Not bad. If you guys could, press that like button for me. Today, guys, you got to be aware of yesterday's highs. Please be cautious longing into that. Again, like I said, pullback longs are the best at 20,500. This is the same thing for the QQQ. Pullback longs are at their best at 495, the 494 zone. That's really where you want to be exposed long. Be careful of 499, 500. On the ES, you'd like to look for that, maybe that 58.90 or really ultimately that 58.65. And on the SPY, you can watch this 582.50, but ultimately you would love this 580 for that next entry long. Let's make it a fantastic day. I hope you guys are learning something from being here on the live stream. Remember, once again, this is completely free. There is zero charge for you to come here on a daily basis. If you could, press that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, get them on the live stream, tell them that this is a great place to learn in the early morning, great place to at least start getting your mind on the markets, starting to get a feel for what to look for. And guess what? It doesn't cost them anything. Press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.